Okay, it's me. I'm back with Resist 35 Profiles of Ordinary People Who Rose Up Against Tyranny and Injustice. Today's topic is the one and only Sitting Bull. Sitting Bull. The time period is 1865. He said, I have seen nothing that the white man has, houses or railways or clothing or food, that is as good as the right to move in open country and live in your own fashion. So, the mid 1800s, there's a huge push to move west. Um, the 13 colonies have expanded at this point to about 15 or 20 or more. Sorry, maybe more like 25. And they're moving west. They're pushing west, moving westward, and they're trying to explore more and more land. And they're running up against Native Americans who have always lived in North America, and they keep moving them out of their way into new territories. And so this is becoming this is when tensions rise and wars break out. And so Sitting Bull was a legendary leader of his tribe. He was born in the Great Plains of America to one of the 7 Lakota tribes. These tribes held more than 500,000 miles of territory. They traveled with a buffalo across the great green expanse that includes the lands we now call Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming, right? That middle big flat section. When he was born, his father called him Jumping Badger. It turned out that that was mainly wishful thinking. The people in his tribe called him by another nickname. They called him Slow because he was not the type to jump forward. He moved so slowly, it was as if you could see him thinking through every step. Sometimes it's good to go slow. When he was 10 years old, he killed his first buffalo. This was an important rite of passage in the Lakota tradition. The buffalo would feed the tribe for many, many days. But while he was proud of this accomplishment, he also felt the pain of causing death. He knelt down next to the buffalo and whispered, Thank you, brother buffalo, for giving your life so that my people will live. We tend to think of great warriors as those who fight, but Sitting Bull became a legend because of the way he did not move in battle. It takes a lot of courage to sit still when the enemy is coming at you. When someone is attacking you with their words or something even worse, it is very, very difficult to stay calm. But there is a part of fighting back that takes place in your mind. It is hard to find wisdom when you're reacting quickly and emotionally. You might make a better choice if you can pause for even a moment or two. The Lakota people were embroiled in a great battle to protect their land. At first, when the white settlers came, they seemed to want to merely trade with the Indian people. The Lakota exchanged their furs and warm buffalo skins for the items the white men had: horses, guns, wagons, coffee, kettles, and sugar. But then the white men came back in larger numbers. They built army forts and manned them with many, many soldiers. Then the soldiers began to drive the native tribes from their land. Sitting Bull believed that land was life. He was prepared to share the land with the white settlers. But he was determined that his people would not be driven from their homes. In one of Sitting Bull's most famous battles, he led 4 warriors out into enemy lines near the Yellowstone River. The 5 men sat and smoked a pipe as bullets whizzed past them. The American soldiers watched, confused, as Sitting Bull finished his pipe, cleaned it out, and calmly walked away. Matters escalated in 1874 when General George Armstrong Custer confirmed that gold had been found in the Black Hills of the Lakota Territory. The greed for land was now overshadowed by the lust for gold. So it's one thing to want the land. It's another thing to find out that there's gold on the land. Forget it. Now the white men want it. The Black Hills were a sacred land to many tribes and had been protected from white settlement by the Fort Laramie Treaty of 1868. But prospectors ignored the treaty and the government pushed Sitting Bull's tribe to sell the area. When he refused to sell the land, the government declared that any Lakota who had not moved to a reservation by January 31st, 1876, would be considered hostile. Sitting Bull held fast. The freedom he had known as a child was what he fought for. He wanted his children and their children's children to know what it was like to roam the Great Plains as his people had done for generations. He said, quote, "When I was a boy, the Sioux owned the world. The sun rose and set on their land. They sent 10,000 men to battle. Where are the warriors today? Who slew them? Where are our lands? Who owns them?" As the American troops advanced towards his people, Sitting Bull called for a meeting at Rosebud Creek in the Montana Territory. He invited the Lakota, the Cheyenne, and the Arapaho tribes. He led them in a sun dance and offered prayers to the Great Spirit, Wakantanka. He had a vision that day of the American soldiers falling like grasshoppers out of the sky. He thought the vision was a good omen. Perhaps victory was within their grasp. Crazy Horse, the Oglala Lakota war chief, advanced first with 500 warriors in his band. He surprised the Americans and forced them to retreat at the Battle of the Rosebud. 3,000 more warriors joined them at the Little Bighorn River, and on June 25th, Sitting Bull and his warriors defeated General Custer's troops. He pushed the American troops to a ridge where they fell over in defeat, just as he had seen in his vision, falling from the sky. Any soldier knows that there are few things more valuable in battle than the element of surprise. Sometimes that calm, that stillness, is the thing they never see coming. The first step is to stand your ground, right? That's the lesson we learn from Sitting Bull. The first step is to stand your ground. Have you ever been in a situation where you really fought for your opinion, you didn't give up, you just, like, it just had to be your way? Think of something. It doesn't have to, like, ideally it didn't turn into like a big fight, like with your parents or something, or your sibling, but you just said, this has to be, this has to be, the, this just has to be my way. Can you think of a time when you had to do that? If you can, write about it. Write about it in your writing journal. A time where you just, had to stand your ground, right? Stand your ground. So interesting. What an interesting leader, right? This idea. Can you imagine sitting in that circle as bullets are flying by and you're just so calm? I can't. I can't. All right, kiddos, I'll see you next time. That was Sitting Bull.